Good morning. It's time for the North Carolina Vinyl Picker Show, and on this episode, I'm going up to App State. Yes, I'm going to tell you why in just a minute, but I want to congratulate those New York Yankees, buddy. New York Yankees play our first game tonight in LA. Let's go, Yanks. We got to win this one. So I'm going to go to the App State today as a Yankee fan, but I thought, no, maybe I shouldn't go there as a Yankee fan. Maybe I'll go there as the North Carolina vinyl picker. Maybe I'll go there as the picker. And if I go there as the North Carolina vinyl picker, somebody will recognize me. Somebody might recognize me and say, hey, I know that guy. He's on YouTube. I said, no, I better not go there as a North Carolina vinyl picker because everybody's going to want an autograph. And I'm going to be sitting there all day doing that, and I won't have time to pick. So I got another idea. Take this off. So I got another idea. I'll go there as a hipster, and I'll blend in with all the kids up there at the college. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go up there, I'm going to blend in, and they won't even recognize me. They won't think nothing of it. They'll think I'm just another college kid up there. Stay tuned. It's going to be a really good show this week. We'll talk to you soon. I'm heading up to App State. I got to go. They're waiting for me up there at the coffee shop. Yeah. Bye for now. Good Sunday morning. It's time for the North Carolina Vinyl Picker Show. And on this episode, I went to two antique malls, and I also went to a coffee shop up in Boone that, believe it or not, they have records in there. Yes. And when I go in there, the girl says they're $2 each. They advertise $3 online, so I was pleasantly surprised. And I got quite a few nice ones up there in Boone the other day, and I also found a bagel store. So let's go ahead and kick this off. And these are the things that I found this week in the mail. These came in the mail. Sometimes records just show up at my door. I don't know how that happens, but Gentle Giant, Spooky Boogie. Now that is a spooky song for the Halloween season. And this is also the hit on here, I guess, was Words from the Wise, but I don't really know how big of a hit it was. It was from their album Giant for a Day. It's when they were getting close to the end of their tenure. But it's pretty cool looking 45 for the Halloween season. That was on my list, and I came up and it popped up on eBay. I think it's on eBay. This one also popped up on eBay, and it was up for 99 cents with $4.95 shipping. So damn near gave it to me. The Stills Young Band, Long May You Run. And this is a Japanese press. I'm going to show you this one. This one here. There's a beautiful looking record. It's minty, mint, fresh. Minty mint. Yeah, so for like less than $6, I got this. This is a great album. I used to have this back when I was a youngin. Gracious. Some people out there know about this band. They're a psych band from the early 70s, and they're a fantastic group. It's like July or Mythos or Morgan or Affinity or Africa. Demon Fuzz. It's kind of like those psychedelic, fuzzed out records from the late 60s or early 70s. This one here is also great. This one originally came out on Vertigo. This is a South Korean copy that I picked up online for like 24 bucks. And if you wanted to get a OG of this from, excuse me, I got a little bit of phlegm here. They're like $300-400 if you wanted to get an original copy of this from England, and I don't have those kind of duckies. So, yeah, $28 was a good deal for me. I'm looking forward to giving this a listen. This is going up on my wall. Matter of fact, I'm going to put it up there right now. I'm going to put it right there. That's right. And then also, I saw this one online. And this one here was Peter Gabriel's second album. But I found a promo. The guy had it for $2.99. And he had like $5 shipping on it. And this is going to replace my other copy. And most likely I'll put that other copy in my store. Now that I got the promo, because promos always sound better. And if you want to get to my store, there'll be a link down below. Big Chief Vinyl 57. I got CDs. I got tons of CDs. So if anybody's looking for some prog CDs, I probably got them. So yeah, those are some nice pickups this week. What do you think? What do you think there, boys and girls? Okay, now, I also I was down in Hickory the other day. I had to go down there for something. I don't know what day it was. The wife was away and I just went crazy. I went record shopping all over the freaking county. Okay, and also another county next door to that county. And then 2 counties over. So yeah, it was like all of Western North Carolina. I was going out everywhere last week. Songs for Beginners, Graham Nash. This is his first solo album. And all these records I'm going to show you here, I got at the Antique Mall down there. And these were all $5 a piece. So Graham Nash, Stephen Stills 2. These are all great albums. I used to have some of these back in the day. A group called Smith. There's some people that know about this record. I haven't heard it yet, but it seems very popular in the vinyl community. Stephen Still Manassas, Down the Road. This is their second album. I used to have their first album. I'll have it again, but I never heard this album. This album's got Chris Hillman on it and Dallas Taylor. That's going to be good. And there goes Ryman Simon live. I never had this album. I've been getting into Paul Simon lately. I like him. I always did like him, but I never really had a lot of his music. And so looking forward to giving this a listen. So that was a nice little pickup of $5 records at the Antique Mall. And then the next day, was it the next day or 2 days later? I don't know. The whole week kind of just blurred together. I was cooking and getting records and I was just having a good old time. Okay, so I went down to, where'd I go to? I went down to Gastonia, North Carolina, to an antique mall that I'd never been to before. But I was at the one across the street a couple of years ago. And I remember looking up across the street. It was like a double-lane highway, or double-lane road. And then across the street, there was another building up there. And I thought maybe that was another antique mall because people coming and going. But I never looked it up. So the other day when I was online, I found this place. And I came in through the back way. And then when I left, then I saw where the other building was and they tore it down. It was another antique mall that had thousands of records that I picked up stuff there a couple of years back. But yeah, so I went to this antique mall and I don't have my notes with me. I left them in the other room. But it was a really nice place. And I found this album there. But I'd never seen this record before. So I said, maybe I got something here. So I picked it up. And these records were all $3 a piece. I was going in all cheap last week. Cheap heat. $3 a piece for buckwheat. You know, you got to love you some buckwheat. And so this is, I guess, is a psychedelic country rock album that doesn't go for a lot of money. But it goes for more than $3. But it's minty fresh. And it's on, I'm going to show you this record. It's really pretty. It's on the London Records. But it's not a UK press. They do have a UK press of this, but this was not the UK press of buckwheat. So if anybody out there knows anything about this record, put it in the comments down below. I've never seen it before. And then they had Crosby, Stills, and Nash. And I think it's just called Crosby, Stills, CSN. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, this one had a pretty big hit on it, from what I remember. Had Dark Star on here. I believe Dark Star was a hit for them.
And I thought there was another hit on here, but maybe not. So this was like a comeback album for them after they had broke up, split up, got back together. This was the final Brecker Brothers album that I didn't have. I found this there. This was $3. And this is back to back. And these guys here are really good. And it's got my buddy on here. It's got guitar player Steve Kahn over here. Man, he is just incredible. I got all his solo records. So, yeah, looking forward to listening to the Brecker Brothers. Sometimes they get a little funky. How about another Crosby and Nash album? This one here is Whistling Down the Wire. A lot of these records I had back in the day. I was into country rock. I saw Marshall Tucker in Kansas was the first concert I ever saw. So I had all Marshall Tucker's records. I listened to them, and I used to listen to Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and a few other bands in that genre, like the Eagles and the Polished Up Eagles and Poco, stuff like that. This is a good album. I was glad to have this one, $3. And it had a minty fresh copy of Stampede there. And I don't really have a lot of Doobie Brothers albums, but my buddy John told me that their early albums are really good. So there you go. So I picked up Stampede. This album is really clean. So these were all real clean. There was some other albums that they were on my list down there for $3, but the albums were shot. And this is probably the last Loggins and Messina album I'm going to need. This is the best of. This was $3, and now I have all of their stuff, and I've always liked them guys. Their live album is my favorite. Their live double album. And then, look at this haul. Okay, so then I got Paul Carrack. Suburban. This is the Voodoo. All these records were $2. These are the ones I was going to show you at the end here. Now, these are the ones I picked up at the Kofu coffee shop up in Boone, North Carolina. And if you're up in that area, stop in and see them. The coffee's really good. And they got some pastries in there. And they got records. They got records in there. Yeah, they're $2 a piece. $2. No brainer, right? I got to get back up there now that I told everybody where it is. Okay, so Paul Carrack, Suburban Voodoo. I never heard this Paul Carrack album. I like his other one. How about this one? Everybody should own this one here. The soundtrack to Billy Jack. Everybody of a certain age will know who Billy Jack was. One badass. Yeah, One Tin Soldier. That was a hit. I got a pair of Billy Joel albums that I didn't have. I have Piano Man. And again, these were all records that I had back in the day. Billy Joel, The Stranger. Yeah, great album. How about Crosby, Stills, and Nash? Or Crosby and Nash Live. These were all $2 a piece. The Best of the Bee Gees. This was just a comp that I found there that I didn't have. Love the Bee Gees. This is probably their early stuff. Yes, Lonely Days, Lonely Nights. Where would I be? How about Stills? Stephen Stills? Yeah, I'm going to give that a spin. How about Roxy, Manifesto? Promo copy for $2. Minty fresh. Getting to the end here. Neil Young, Comes a Time. Did not have this one. Great album, Neil Young. Tim Buckley, Happy Sad. Yes, everybody loves some Tim Buckley. And this was $2. And so was this one. Jackson Browne, Late for the Sky. North Carolina vinyl picker. He finds some records. How about Talking Heads, Remain in Light? This is the second. I already had a copy of this, but for $2, that was going home with me. I was looking for a couple of their other ones. How about this one here? We're going to end with this one here. Victory at Sea. I wasn't going to leave this one there. This was $2. All right. Ooh, watch out. Watch out. Earthquake. Okay, so stay tuned for part 2 because I'm going to regroup and I'm going to come right back. I'm going to show you 1979, my best records of 1979, my top 10 of 1979. So stay tuned. I'll be right back. Don't go away. I'm back, baby. That was only a couple seconds for you, but for me, it was like 30 minutes. So here we go. In 1979, I was had been in the Navy for 2 years, and I was all over the world. By that time, I'd been to Spain, I'd been to Italy, I've been up into Norway, up into the fjords. I was up there, a North Atlantic cruise. I was in Amsterdam. I was all over the place at 21 years old. And I was buying records everywhere. And then more to that story later down the road. But there's a couple albums in 1979 that I never heard until just recently, the last year or so. And this is an album that Genesis could have made. It's called Neuschwanstein Battlement. I think I said that right. Well, you German people out there probably butchered it, but there you go. Battlement. If you can find this record. Now, I was able to find this record at a record show up in Johnson City, maybe about almost a year ago now. And I've had it on, I have it on copy of on CD. I think I have a copy on CD. And just an awesome record. If you love Genesis, this is the album you need to find and listen to. It's called Battlement. And another record that I just recently got into is a band called Eloy, and I never heard of them before. And this album is called Silent Cries and Mighty Echoes. And this album came out in 1979, but I didn't know it. I wasn't aware of this album back then. And it's on the Harvest label. Pretty much everything on Harvest is pretty cool. So there you go. Those are two that I'm looking back at now that I probably should have been listening to back then. But 1979 was a great year, and we were getting ready to roll over into the 80s, and then Prog was pretty much dead at this point. It was on its last dying breath. But I'm going to show you my albums that I was listening to in 1979. The big vinyl picker, the North Carolina vinyl picker, the Big Chief, his top 10 records of 1979, coming in at number 10, is The Long Run from the Eagles. Their follow-up to the mega hit Hotel California. Very polished Eagles at this point. It wasn't the like the early Eagles for sure. And The Long Run would be their last album for a long run, for a long time. And it's when Don Felder gets the boot. Love Don Felder. Love his guitar playing. Coming in at number 9. Steve Carlson just showed this record not too long ago. Yes, it's Breakfast in America, another album that's highly polished. They're probably their biggest album next to Crisis What Crisis and Crime of the Century. Crime of the Century probably was their biggest record until this one came out. But he was showing y'all different things about this lady and her name and where she came from and what she's doing. But Steve didn't know, but if you flip this over and look at the Twin Towers, you'll see that it spells down here, it says 9/11. Pretty cool, huh, Steve? You didn't know that, did you? It's okay. Coming in number 8. I saw this band in Norfolk. Couldn't find my ticket, but it was the Dire Straits on the Communique tour. Yes, I saw that tour. First time and only time I got to see Dire Straits. Mark Knopfler, it was just incredible. I remember the show being really good. I remember having really good seats too. I wasn't too far back. Here I am getting lost in my numbers again. 10, 9, 8. This got to be number 7. UK, this was after Holdsworth and Bruford left. And this was Danger Money. And this was the live album from their live show with John Wetton and Eddie Jobson and Terry Bozzio, who took over for Bruford. These are 2 great albums. So if you don't have these, you can find these for like $5 a piece. Tony Banks. Tony Banks is number 6. Tony Banks. You know Tony Banks. Tony Banks, keyboard player for Genesis. They took a little break in 79. They needed to. And they come out with some solo records. And this is Tony Banks' best solo album right here. His first one. He doesn't sing. He just plays on the keys. And then he wrote all these songs. And just an awesome record. And I don't know, I ain't going to say everybody was listening to this in 79 because what I was listening to in 79 was not what a lot of other people were listening to in 79, because I think that's when punk was real big. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the Picker didn't listen to no punk or post-punk or before punk or any kind of punk. He wasn't even a punk. He was a sailor. That's right. So anyway, I digress. A Curious Feeling. Great album. Another record you'd probably pick up for like $5-7. But if you like Genesis, you'll love this album. Coming in at number 6. Coming in at number 5, his partner in crime, Steve Hackett. They did all those great albums together with Genesis, and then Hackett came out with this album, which was his 3rd solo album in 79, and I just couldn't put it down. I was listening to this record probably twice a week. But Every Day on here, the big hit for him. And yeah, Steve Hackett, guitar player extraordinaire. 1979, people. Oh boy, where are we at? How about we're at Bill Bruford. Got to have Bill Bruford in this top 10. Yes, Feels Good to Me was his first album. This one here came out. This was called One of a Kind. And this had his buddy on here. Holdsworth was on this. And a bunch of other people. Dave Stewart and Jeff Berlin round out the quartet. And just a phenomenal album. If you love jazz fusion and progressive rock, and that's where they collide in Bruford. So listen to Bruford. Do yourself a favor. Listen to this on Bruford today. Put on some Bruford. Coming in at number 3. Now, number 3 and number 2, you could flip them back and forth all day long if you wanted to. Because for me, I was listening to, in 1979, I was listening to Pat Metheny. And this album here is called American Garage. And I was listening to Pat even before these 2 albums, but American Garage. And then there's like New Chautauqua. Yeah, Pat Metheny. These are like bookends, these 2 albums. If you have one, you should have them both. And if you don't have them both, then you need to get them both. Boop, boop, boop. There, boop, boop. There you go. Trying to do the robotic thing there. Okay, so those are, you got to have those. Those are 2 and 3. Coming in at number 1, there can only be number 1. And it has to be Kate Bush. Now, she didn't record an album 79, but she came out with this in 79. This is, for some of you younger people out there don't know what this is. This is a VHS tape. And it's been transferred to a DVD that I have of when I want to watch it, because I no longer have a, well, I have one, but I don't have it hooked up, a VHS player. And yeah, there's Kate. This is on the Tour of Life. This is her one and done tour that she did in the UK. And then she did one about 10 years ago now, where she did, but it's not available on video that I know of. But this one here is her original Tour of Life VHS tape. This is number 1 for 1979 for me. I've watched this tape a bunch of times in the DVD, and I think they called it the Lionheart Tour. It was from her second album, and then she did all the songs from her first album as well, I'm sure. It was before the next album would come out, would be 1980, which I'll be showing that next week. I'm sure that album will be in the in that grouping of top 10 of 1980, which you'll see next week. So that's all I got. That's quite a lot. There's like 9 minutes and then 10, 11 minutes. So it's really going to take up a bunch of your time, but appreciate you all sticking in there and watching this whole crazy video that I did about the 1979. And then also with the all the haul that I got, all these cheapo records that I picked up this week. And that's about all I got this week. Thanks for new subscribers if you're out there. And if you enjoy my show, sub me up and hit the bell. That way you'll know the next time the North Carolina Vinyl Picker will be back. And I will be back this Wednesday. I have a show on Wednesday night too, is Wednesday, because what did they say? YouTube said you need to do more content. That's right. I got a little flash from them. I got to, they woke me up and say, hey, Picker, you're not doing enough. So Wednesdays is my short show, and then the longer show is on Sunday. So support them troops if you can, and I'll be talking to you soon. North Carolina Vinyl Picker, I'm out. Go Yankees. We got to get back to business here Monday night. Back in the Bronx, baby. We got to win the game. All right, talk to you later. Bye for now.